Yes, people, it's your boy Dan back again with another video. Today's a request from Mo E. He's requested that I react to Surah Al Hijr, Hazza Al Balushi, soothing recitation on the Al Baruch J Press YouTube channel. So yeah, let's go. See how we find it. I'm gonna pause it throughout to react to it. I'll try not to pause it in the middle of like a sentence, and I'll pause it to talk rather than talking over it or whatever. So yeah, here we go. Surah Al Hijr, Hazza Al Balushi. Let's go.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alif Lam Ra. Tilka ayatul kitabi wa Qur'anin mubin. Rubbama yawaddu alladhina kafaru law kanu muslimin. Dharhum ya'kulu wa yatamatta'u wa yulhihimul amalu fasawfa ya'lamun. وما أهلكنا من قرية إلا ولها كتاب معلوم ما تسبق من أمة أجلها وما يستأخرون وقالوا يا أيها الذي نزل عليه الذكر إنك لمجنون لو ما تأتينا بالملائكة إن كنت من الصادقين.
Okay, that's interesting. So they're saying how the disbelievers talk to Muhammad and say, why, if you bring in the truth, why don't you bring us the angels for us to see? Then we'll really believe you. You come down with the angels. So let's see what is being said in reply to that.
أننزل الملائكة إلا بالحق وما كانوا إذا منظرين إنا نحن نزلنا الذكر وإنا له لحافظون.
Okay, so they say the angels will only be sent to cause torment to the disbelievers. That's why the angels are not sent, because there'll be no respite, as they said. There'll be no respite for the disbelievers. So it's a mercy for the angels not to be sent down to earth. Okay.
أرسلنا من قبلك في شيع الأولين وما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون كذلك نسلكه في قلوب المجرمين لا يؤمنون به وقد خلت سنة الأولين ولو فتحنا عليهم بابا من السماء فظلوا فيه يعرجون لقالوا إنما سكرت أبصارنا بل نحن قوم.
Okay, so they're saying even if they saw a gate to heaven being open for them, they will say, our eyes have been bedazzled, or our eyes have been dazzled. We have been bewitched. That's why we're seeing this delusion of heaven.
ولقد جعلنا في السماء بروجا وزيناها للناظرين وحفظناها من كل شيطان رجيم إلا من استرق السمع فأتبعه شهاب مبين والأرض مددناها وألقينا فيها رواسي وأنبتنا فيها من كل شيء موزون وجعلنا لكم فيها معايش ومن لستم له برازقين وإن من.
So I'm just going to rewind that. It went a little bit quick for me there. And we have provided therein means of living for you and for those whom you provide, not moving living creatures, cattle, beasts and other animals. We have provided therein means of living for you and for those who you provide not. Okay, so that's creatures, cows. Okay, so saying, God has provided for everyone. Okay.
معايش ومن لستم له برازقين وإن من شيء إلا عندنا خزائنه وما ننزله إلا بقدر معلوم وأرسلنا الرياح لواقح فأنزلنا من السماء ماء فأسقيناكموه وما أنتم له بخازنين وإنا لنحن نحيي ونميت ونحن.
That's interesting. They say it's not for you to decide who gets the water, it's for everyone to drink, which is very contradictory to our society. If you look at parts of Africa and South America and parts of Asia, people don't have clean drinking water to eat, clean drinking water to drink. People having to walk 3 miles just for dirty water. People are getting sick from it, malaria, cholera. So I guess it's like an Islamic rule that everyone should have clean water because it's there for everyone to drink. It's the thing though, isn't it? The purification process of water then involves industry involves money, therefore you need money for water. So man, capitalism's bad, man. I shouldn't say it's bad, but I don't know, it's, in my opinion, I think as a progressive civilization, maybe once we get to a certain level, there should be an agreement, like a united agreement among the nations that, okay, capitalism's taken us this far, we've got this much science, medical, technological advancements from it, maybe it's time to step back from capitalism and say there's certain things now which should not be determined by money. There's certain things now which we now developed enough industry for and enough companies and production services for that we don't have to charge for money because it's actually inhumane to charge people for money. For example, clean drinking water, food. There's storehouses with vaccines upon vaccines of things like malaria, cholera. People don't have access to it because they don't have, shelter, housing. When does a civilization get to the point where it says, you know what, capitalism's taken us this far, now we must abandon strict capitalism in certain circumstances if it's going to be more humane for others, if it's going to serve those who are suffering in a much humane and more loving way. But will that ever happen? I don't know. Who knows? Okay, let's continue.
ولقد علمنا المستقدمين منكم ولقد علمنا المستأخرين وإن ربك هو يحشرهم إنه حكيم عليم ولقد خلقنا الإنسان من صلصال من حمأ.
So they say God created man from clay, which is something that continues, which is also in the Bible as well, that man was created from clay, and then woman was created from the rib of man. There's something in that, in the fact that humans were created. I don't know, I think there's something, I don't know, man. Obviously clay's from the earth, so maybe, I think there's something in that description of man being made from clay. I think it's more like, because clay is directly from the earth, I think it's more trying to say that man was made from the earth. So, okay, there was natural evolution of beings from ape to man as well. I know that's not the Islamic belief. but there's also DNA and things about man which is totally different to the ape. So I think, I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. It seems like saying man is made from clay is trying to show you that there was some kind of planetary mixing or changing of the species to create human beings, to create conscious human beings, you know. That seems to be, I don't know. Obviously, a lot of people are probably going to comment and say I'm wrong and say it's a strict definition that God created man, sculpted man from clay. But I don't know. Do we have to? I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I try and look beyond strict definitions or strict literal meanings. Not to say I'm right or wrong, but you know. Right. Let's continue.
وإذ قال ربك للملائكة إني خالق بشرا من صلصال من حمأ مسنون فإذا سويته ونفخت فيه من روحي فقعوا.
See, that's another thing that I noticed. It says the humans were made from earth, dark mud, clay. The jinn were made from smokeless flame. And then he breathed air. So you have earth, fire, and wind. You have the three elements here now. I think the Quran is trying to say there's a lot of, obviously I'm not a scholar of the Quran, and I'm guessing like scholars who have really studied the Quran have dug into it and probably found a lot of like hidden messages within it. I think that's definitely some kind of hidden message about, you know, the duality of our universe, you know, hot and cold, summer, winter, tall, short, good and bad. There's definitely some kind of symbolic description in the creation of man and jinn. Not to say all men are good or all humans are good, I'm not saying that at all. But it seems like, I don't know, there's some kind of symbolic thing here. You specifically got earth, wind and fire, the three elements in the creation of God's conscious beings. The earth being the man, the fire, the jinn, and the air being the soul. So something interesting there, man. Definitely. I think that's definitely some kind of puzzle that needs cracking, man. Let's take it back a little bit.
سويته ونفخت فيه من روحي فقعوا له ساجدين فسجد الملائكة كلهم أجمعون إلا إبليس أبى أن يكون مع الساجدين قال يا إبليس ما لك ألا تكون مع الساجدين قال لم أكن لأسجد لبشر خلقته من صلصال من حمأ مسنون قال فاخرج منها فإنك رجيم.
See, why does one created from fire refuse to bow down to one created from clay, from earth? Is it because, you know, Iblis saw himself as, I don't know, you know, like a physical human being in terms of non-physical abilities? We don't have a lot. There's been very, very few physical human beings that have abilities beyond what we can do physically. You know, stuff like mental telepathy, predicting the future, prophesizing. There's been very, very, very few beings throughout history who could do such things and who have learnt the ability to do such things. You know, in the late 70s and early 80s, there was a wave of children who, after seeing Uri Geller do spoon bending on TV, they all grabbed spoons, and there were like a load of these kids, and some adults as well, but it was mostly kids, and they could all bend metal with their mind. So maybe, I don't know, is it saying like Iblis, as not a physical human as we are, maybe someone with like that spiritual power would see it as maybe this is what the story's showing, that he with his spiritual power saw himself as more powerful and more adept and have more ability than Adam, and refused to bow down to him. So yeah, I don't know, it's like that duality of those with spiritual and mental power feeling superior to those only with physical power and intelligence. But you know, as an angel of God, if God tells you to bow down to this person, this creation, then you should do it. You shouldn't feel pride not to bow down.
إن عليك اللعنة إلى يوم الدين قال رب فأنظرني إلى يوم يبعثون قال فإنك من المنظرين إلى يوم الوقت المعلوم قال رب بما أغويتني لأزينن لهم في الأرض ولأغوينهم أجمعين إلا عبادك منهم المخلصين قال هذا صراط علي مستقيم إن عبادي ليس لك عليهم.
Just rewind that a second.
قال هذا صراط علي مستقيم.
So Iblis, who later who's also called Shaitan, the devil, has said, I will mislead them except those who are your servants, except among them your chosen servants. And then God says, God says, this is the way which will lead straight to me. Is he talking about the servants that will lead? This is the way that will lead the servants straight to me, or this is the way of your actions, Iblis, is okay and that will lead to me? I'm not sure. Not entirely sure there.
صراط علي مستقيم إن عبادي ليس لك عليهم سلطان إلا من اتبعك من الغاوين وإن جهنم لموعدهم أجمعين لها 7 أبواب لكل باب منهم جزء مقسوم إن المتقين في جنات وعيون ادخلوها بسلام آمنين ونزعنا ما في صدورهم من غل إخوانا على سرر متقابلين لا يمسهم فيها نصب وما هم منها بمخرجين نبئ عبادي أني أنا الغفور الرحيم وأن عذابي هو العذاب الأليم ونبئهم عن ضيف إبراهيم إذ دخلوا عليه فقالوا سلاما قال إنا منكم وجلون قالوا لا توجل إنا نبشرك بغلام عليم قال أبشرتموني على أن مسني الكبر فبم تبشرون قالوا بشرناك بالحق فلا تكن من القانطين قال ومن يقنط من رحمة ربه إلا الضالون قال فما خطبكم أيها المرسلون قالوا إنا أرسلنا إلى قوم مجرمين إلا آل لوط إنا أرسلنا إلى قوم مجرمين إلا آل لوط إنا لمنجوهم أجمعين إلا امرأته قدرنا إنها لمن الغابرين فلما جاء آل لوط المرسلون قال إنكم قوم منكرون قالوا بل جئناك بما كانوا فيه يمترون وأتيناك بالحق وإنا لصادقون فأسر بأهلك بقطع من الليل واتبع أدبارهم ولا يلتفت منكم أحد وامضوا حيث تؤمرون وقضينا إليه ذلك الأمر أن دابر هؤلاء مقطوع.
So they're going to destroy the people of Lut, or Lot, or Laut is it called? They say they're sinners, disbelievers, criminals. So they're telling Abraham to remove himself somewhere and his family. Okay.
وجاء أهل المدينة يستبشرون قال إن هؤلاء ضيفي فلا تفضحون واتقوا الله ولا تخزون قالوا أولم ننهك عن العالمين قال هؤلاء بناتي إن كنتم فاعلين لعمرك إنهم لفي سكرتهم يعمهون فأخذتهم الصيحة مشرقين فجعلنا عاليها سافلها وأمطرنا عليهم حجارة.
Okay, now talking about Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible, which was said to be, place of sin and corruption and stuff, which was destroyed by hot stones of clay, like came thundering down out of the sky and destroyed the whole place, and kind of vitrified the whole place.
إن في ذلك لآيات للمتوسمين وإنها لبسبيل مقيم إن في ذلك لآية للمؤمنين وإن كان أصحاب الأيكة لظالمين فانتقمنا منهم وإنهما لبإمام مبين ولقد كذب أصحاب الحجر المرسلين وآتيناهم آياتنا فكانوا عنها معرضين وكانوا ينحتون من الجبال بيوتا آمنين فأخذتهم الصيحة مصبحين فما أغنى عنهم ما كانوا يكسبون وما خلقنا السماوات والأرض وما بينهما إلا بالحق وإن الساعة لآتية فاصفح الصفح الجميل إن ربك هو الخلاق العليم ولقد آتيناك 7 من المثاني والقرآن العظيم لا تموت سبعا من المثاني والقرآن العظيم لا تمدن عينيك إلى ما متعنا به أزواجا منهم ولا تحزن عليهم واخفض جناحك للمؤمنين وقل إني أنا النذير المبين كما أنزلنا على المقتسمين الذين جعلوا القرآن عضين فوربك لنسألن.
Okay, so they're saying with the Jews and the Christians and the pagans, the truthful bits of their religions or belief systems are in the Quran, but because they don't follow the Quran wholeheartedly, they disbelieve in other bits of the Quran. So let's go back to the line just exactly. We have made the Quran as we have sent down on the dividers. The dividers are those who believe in different religions and belief systems. So Quraysh pagans or Jews and Christians. It says we have sent down on the dividers, these dividing things. Who have made the Quran into parts, i.e. they believed in a part and disbelieved in the other. So they're saying the Quran holds the entire truth, and if you are of those other faiths, you do not believe in the entire truth, you only believe in parts of it. Okay.
فوربك لنسألنهم أجمعين عما كانوا يعملون فاصدع بما تؤمر وأعرض عن المشركين فاصدع بما تؤمر وأعرض عن المشركين إنا كفيناك المستهزئين الذين يجعلون مع الله إلها آخر فسوف يعلمون ولقد نعلم أنك يضيق صدرك بما يقولون فسبح بحمد ربك وكن.
That's interesting. It says your breast is constrained by what they say. So when you hear the word of the Christians, the Jews, and etc., they're saying maybe you feel a physical repulsion to it or rejection to it. That's interesting. But then you may not. Very interesting though. I hear Shamsi always talking about the natural inclination of the heart. Maybe that's what that's referring to. They say in the Quran is appeasing and appealing to the heart's natural inclination, rather than how the other faiths are. They kind of cause the breast, the heart, the chest area to feel decline to the to what its messages, to what the messages of those faiths are.
واعبد ربك حتى يأتيك اليقين صدق الله العظيم.
Alright, that was really interesting. Yeah, a few good points. I like that. That was a really good surah. Big up Mo E. Had all different kind of topics and topics of discussion in there. It had the creation of man, it had the disbelievers, it had Sodom and Gomorrah, the people of Lot, it had the angels, it had the story of Iblis, Shaitan. So yeah, no, I really like that. I really like that surah. Yeah, it was really interesting, man. I mean, it follows along well with the previous chapters of the Quran, saying how the disbelievers will suffer hell. It says, the Jews, the Quranist pagans. I'm not sure what Quranist pagans are. Maybe people who are pagans but believe in bits of the Quran as well. Because it said the Jews are Christians and the Quranic or Quranist pagans will believe in parts of the Quran, but that's not sufficient enough because the entire truth is in the Quran, so they must believe it all. Yeah, man, it's very, very interesting. I mean, what's interesting to note is that if those who transmitted the message had a certain predisposed belief to the Abrahamic way of worshipping God or of believing in God and heaven and hell, I guess this would come across more and be oppressed more upon the verses of the Quran. Because if you go outside the Middle East and you go to like other parts of the world and you look at Buddhist belief systems, Hindu religion, where they're not so consciously impressed with the Abrahamic faiths in those regions, the deliverance of their messages and their holy texts and, what came through their sages and their prophets is quite different. They speak of like reincarnation instead of a day of judgment, and they speak of the karmic wheel, and they too speak of angels, and I mean they refer to angels as gods with a small g, which a lot of people confuse and think they're talking about polytheism when really they're not. They're talking about superior beings, which are not God, not the creator, but they just call them gods with a small g. But it's not actually talking about God. But yeah, and then I don't know. Yeah, then you have like Zoroastrianism, which is in the Middle East area as well, which comes from that Middle East area, which is slightly Abrahamic as not slightly, it is quite Abrahamic as well, but it's a dualistic religion, so it's like a male and female god. So yeah, man, it's just interesting to the way the Quran came across. I mean, if you see it as the uninflicted or the pure word of God with no certain particular distortion or belief upon it, then I guess you have no reason to question it. But yeah, man, I really like that verse. Yeah, I found it really interesting about the rain. It says, then caused the water to descend from the sky, and we gave it to you to drink. And it is not you who are the owners of its stores, i.e. to give water to whom you like or without it from who you like. And it is not you who are the owners of its stores. So you do not own the stores of water that befell onto the earth, into the mountains, into the springs, into the rivers, into the seas. It's not for you to do what you like with it. It's for everyone, for every human being to benefit from it and have its have its sustenance from it. So yeah, I found that really interesting, man, with the amount of people that are having to drink dirty water because they simply haven't got enough money to pay for clean water, man. Water's free, it's natural, it doesn't belong to anyone, it belongs to God, it belongs to the earth. But people, with how countries are set up and the capitalist system of the world is set up, everything's been put into a financial, everything has this financial label, Can't do anything without a piece of paper with someone's face on it, so it's crazy. Imagine you are an alien, you came down and you went to like maybe an African village and you see children like they're thirsty, they're dehydrated because they haven't got any clean water, they're malnourished, and they look around the continent of Africa and the world and they say, wow, there's plenty of water and there's plenty of food here. What's going on? These people, maybe no one knows about them. I don't know, what's going on? These people don't have clean water. Babies don't have clean water to drink or food to eat. There's plenty of food here in production. We can see it with our very own eyes. We see it all. Why do they not have food or water? And someone come up to them and say, they don't have any money to pay for it. and the alien will look at you and say, "What's money?" It's a piece of paper with someone's face on it, which adds value to an item. And if you don't have enough of those, then you cannot have that which the value is affixed to. So if the value is affixed to water and food, and you do not have that money, then you cannot have water or food. Same with clothes, same with a house, same with electricity. And they'll look at you like, are you crazy? Babies and children and people are starving, drinking muddy water, getting diseases from it. Like, it's crazy, isn't it? So I like the fact that that's in the Quran, man. We do not own the water. I wonder if there's like maybe I don't know if there's a law in Muslim countries that say everyone has a human right to free water, no matter their monetary circumstance. I'll be very interested to know that, actually. Maybe someone can comment below and let me know if that's a thing in Muslim law in Muslim countries. That'd be very interesting to know, because it's clear here in the Quran. There's no doubting. This is not you who are the owners of its stores, so you do not determine who has it and who not. It says we caused the water to descend from the sky and we gave it to you to drink, and you are not the owners of the stores of water. I like that, man. That's really good. That's amazing, man. What else did I like? I like that, yeah, it said that we provided for everyone, not just the humans, but the animals, and we put the mountains here, caused the mountains and the stars and the grass to spread out. Then it had the Iblis story again in there, about him refusing to prostrate to Adam as he was a supreme being, and I was talking about the whole power of the spirit over the power of the physical, and how I guess Iblis felt some kind of elitist distortion from being such a powerful being, having to prostrate to a human being who can only really use his brain and his body to achieve the feats. There's no etheric kind of power there. Well, as I was saying earlier, very, very few people like Nostradamus who were able to predict the future, people who were able to do spoon bending. There are like legitimate mind readers and stuff like that. There was a CIA program by the CIA back in the 80s called remote viewing, where they recruited people like Uri Geller and other people, where they would give you certain coordinates on the Earth, or not even on this planet, sometimes on Mars or on the Moon, and they would tell you, they'd literally give you the coordinates, put you in a sealed room, what's called a SCIV, a secure communication access something. It's called a SCIV. It's basically a room where no communication in or out, no signals, no phone signals, no radio signals, nothing can get in and out of the room. They put you in a secure room, they give you coordinates on a paper, and and then the remote viewer would basically have to draw and describe what it is that they're seeing in their mind when they look into those coordinates. So there are those etheric psychic abilities. The US used it a lot in the Cold War. When they wanted to know what weapons that China and Russia had, they would give the coordinates of their nuclear bases, and then the remote viewers would look and they'd be able to see, oh, they've got this nuclear sub, they've got this nuclear warhead, they've got this, that, and they were able to, get a lot of intelligence from remote viewers. So there is, people say psychic ability and what do you call it? Extrasensory perception, ESP. They say it's all fake, but it's not. It's real. It's been proven to be real. The CIA and other big government organizations all over the world have used it to great effect. They've been able to see structures on like Mars, on the dark side of the moon, all sorts of stuff, man. So yeah, I guess Iblis being a being along with the angels with these kind of abilities that we as humans, only a very, very, very few of us are able to access in this kind of physical life. Maybe the pride of that led him not to want to bow to Adam, a physical being made of clay who seemingly has no etheric ability, should we say. It talks about heaven, about the gardens and the springs, and in comparison to hell, no fatigue shall touch those in heaven. It talks about the people of Lot, who were to be punished, like the people of Sodom. Created the heavens and they talk about the hour coming, so judgment day coming. Sent down, and they talked about the dividers, the religions and the faiths and beliefs that divide people. And, if part of your religion or faith is compliant with Islam, then you should become Muslim because you're only believing partly in the truth, which is according to this text that was channeled down to Muhammad from Gabriel and the other angels. Man, really good text today. Really like that. A lot to analyze, a lot to look at. Oh, the thing with the clay, earth, wind and fire as well, with humans, jinn and the soul. I felt that really interesting, that the elements are embedded there, almost as if it's kind of like some kind of code you have to crack to the dualistic makeup of our world, of our universe. Night and day, sun and moon, hot and cold, good and bad, love and hate, anger, happiness, the whole dualistic makeup of our world. It seems to be incorporated in the story of the creation of man and jinn, or man and angel, man and jinn, and that the soul is the air. It's like the earth and the fire, which we know are very, very powerful elements, earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, all created by the earth and the fire. But the air, which seems to be maybe not the one causing the destruction and having activity and being so powerful, the air, which is what they said God breathed the air into the man, which is the soul. So we are part of that. So basically saying that the air is the true essence of being. The air is the true essence of human life, of life in general. The air, aka the soul, is the true essence of life. So even though we run around and we worry about the fire and the earth, the physical and the mental and the psychic and the etheric, is saying, concentrate on the air. Don't look at the earthquakes and the volcanoes, look at the air. That's the soul, that's the truth. That's what continues after this. The air, the soul. Really good verse. Really good chapter that. Excellent Surah. Big up Moti for the request. Man, tune in next time for more reactions from the Quran and other sources too. Peace.